Hey folks, Dave here, and welcome back to Fallout 4. I am joined once again by Joel.
Hey guys!
The movie releasing champion. So 7 years of Norman.
7 years.
7 years of settlement building leading up to today, so we're basically...
7 years of settlement building. You put probably 7 years of hours. When was the last time we did a tour together? It's been a while.
That was
I honestly can't remember, but one of them disappointed me. It's gonna be a great tour. Dave's been kind of teasing it that it's gonna be pretty special. So
I've been working on it for 7 months on and off, and this is my darkest Minutemen build, and we actually...
Well, it's at night.
It's at night.
That's about as
We're starting off with some pretty sweet puns. Joel, do you remember Thicket Excavations?
Which side of the map is it?
It's right after you leave Sanctuary. Odds are you came across the giant quarry.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the quarry, yeah.
It was flooded back in the beginning. Well, I grabbed a mod that lets me build there. And this is going to be the furthest along settlement in my Minutemen timeline. So this is a settlement that would have been built over like 7 or 8 years, if not longer. This is where the Minutemen have kind of locked down the justice system that you saw the beginnings of at Bunker Hill. In a Commonwealth that's controlled by the Minutemen, how do we deal with lawbreakers who don't deserve the death penalty, but don't really fit into General Dave's new society? That's why, Joel, I'd like to welcome you to our tour of the Thicket Excavations, Minutemen, Prison, and Penal Colony.
My first initial thought, no one's getting out of this. You're not going to kill them to just put them out of their misery. They're staying here for life.
This is where we throw people and then throw away the key. But it also serves a very important purpose in my settlement hierarchy. This settlement is going to answer the question of how we've been able to expand across the Commonwealth so quickly. And it's because this is a penal colony, and one of the main goals here is not just to contain wrongdoers, if you will, but to put them to work for the Minutemen.
You knew exactly where to walk.
I did.
Slow camera pan.
This definitely rivals Sanctuary in size. There's stuff underground that we're going to tour that you can't even see from up here.
I remember exploring it because I think it goes pretty deep.
Let's head on around to the main entrance and start our tour. This settlement, Joel, is also just down the road from the Bedford Station train settlement that we saw last December. Okay. So you can see down there, we're going to come around eventually to those loading docks, and that's where some of these supplies are shipped out with those vehicles to our other Minutemen settlements. That's also where prisoners are taken off the train and trucked just down the road here to the front gate of the prison. Did some custom texture work here. Hand painted a bit.
I love that you didn't change the name from the actual location, Dave.
If you look, Joel, it's slightly offset where the Minutemen have painted over the old name to maintain that nice, strong lettering. Order and safety. Yep, welcome to Thicket Excavations Penal Colony. The last sign you're ever going to see on the surface. Much like our Hall of Justice at Bunker Hill, a reminder that justice and peace has arrived for the Commonwealth, thanks to General Dave's Iron Fist, which is getting more and more iron-like as the years go by, I think. Let's go ahead and open up our first gate here. This settlement has multiple layers of security.
You don't say.
Boy, does General Dave love his walls.
You must pay your debts.
You must pay your debts. Oh. As you can see, we've used some of the quarry stones here to build up the entrance. And we have really found a good source for these Minutemen statues. I'm imagining some kind of like tourist trap warehouse that was like all prepared for all these new colonial style buildings across America when the war struck. We found our warehouse full of Minutemen statues. At the front gate here, where the Raiders used to have their guardhouse, it's now the Minutemen's guardhouse. It's also got our announcement speaker, which is networked throughout the entire settlement to both the Warden's house and the command center we're going to see. This is really just the check-in gate, where our guards can get some coffee and file away the new arrivals' paperwork here in the filing cabinet. And, of course, the terminal as well.
I want to step back.
Just in case some of them, fell off the truck along the way. Again, unsurprisingly, the entire thing is completely enclosed in walls all the way through.
You're so proud of that. You are so proud of that.
That's because that's hand built. That's like 3 different pieces of wall
I know.
And then these walls right here are, of course, from my RangerDave's Wasteland Walls mod.
See, it'd be easy to actually sneak into a place like this, Dave, because you just like get one of your cronies to go talk to you and just admiring the place. Could you give me a tour? You're like, oh yeah, absolutely. Look at these walls, aren't they beautiful?
They're like tearing them down.
Yeah, like as we're like stealing everything from behind you. Look at these awesome walls.
And along with everything, as far as walls go, you've also got turrets and a security robot out front as well, Protectron, watching the front gate. And this has got like a spotlight behind it. I love the light coming through the gate there. A little welcome mat out front. So as our new prisoners are brought in the front gate, this is the processing area. To our left, you have the first of many, many watchtowers and turrets and spotlights. They're held here in the holding area while their paperwork is confirmed, make sure that their sentence is correct and that they are going to be tossed in here basically forever.
I just see their sentences like, I stole a stick of gum. Get him in there.
Of course not.
Ruffians.
Of course not. We're talking about Minutemen traitors, perhaps, that served honorably, but can't be trusted any longer. So, perhaps some political enemies. Also,
yeah.
Brotherhood captured members, maybe ex-Institute members. People that might not deserve the instant death penalty. But maybe some people who kept, like, shifting around in a leather chair and just constantly squeaked in on the microphone. People like that would be thrown in here immediately. Here they're stripped of their personal belongings. Someone's got a baseball card tucked away there.
Who is that?
I think it's somebody from the Boston baseball team or something like that. Not exactly luxurious.
What do you do for people when they're cold?
Throw a fire barrel up next door, like this one right here. But you won't be in here for probably more than overnight or so.
Oh.
This is the smaller cage for more dangerous prisoners. Solitude for them, essentially. Of course, you've got, for your canopies here, all the correctly placed foundations and cinder blocks right there. Oh, a lantern. I was like, what is that? I don't remember that being there. This is the main entrance to the prison. Come on in. We're open for business. As you can see, lots and lots of guard dogs are going to be all over the place.
That sign at a prison? That's totally you, Dave. Come in, we're open. You're a prison.
Nice little bit of sarcasm there. As you can see, someone smuggled some chalk in and wrote a little "you suck" there.
I'm glad that's me. That's me. Like, you douches.
Got our guard dogs here, ready to sniff out any escapees. One of our ghouls. Oh, I thought her eyes were glowing. That was super creepy looking for a second. It's the glasses. This little hut right here is where they are checked for any kind of communicable diseases. We don't want to be throwing people with bird flu down into the general prison population. We don't want these people to just die down there. But it does happen. So this is where you go for your prison checkup before you're tossed into the depths of Thicket Excavations. This one's mostly the same as it was when the Raiders still owned the place, but it's just been repurposed for the Minutemen to do those medical checks.
One tiny bathroom.
Continuing my realism theme of having plenty of bathrooms for all, you're going to see a lot of these porta potties today. So I'm sure you're very excited for that.
Yep.
Calm down. Contain the
So
excitement.
excited.
And of course, walls containing the entire area. You've got your chain link fence, then also your outer wall as well, with turrets watching everything. And you've got, you know, your guard dogs and your guards to walk the prisoners back and forth. So there's really no chance at all of any escape from the holding area. But it's also to make sure that, you know, while you're out here for the 12 hours or so that you're being processed, you don't have your, you know, raider pals show up and try to break you out. Some very, very strong walls for the outer part here. And even like an additional layer
I
of
think I was
barbed wire.
shirtless for a second.
Oh, shirtless? No, that's McCready. He's been moved in from Red Rocket, which was the old holding facility, the tiny one compared to this one. He is moving up in the world. He's now our head guard here at Thicket Excavations. He looks ready for some murdering. He's just smirking away. Make my day. Climb the walls.
Did you give him that rifle? Or was that his?
I think that's his rifle, I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
Yeah. It just seemed like a fit, for sure. And there's... look at the frame rate dropping as we look towards the center. And this is what these outer walls look like. Turrets everywhere. No easy way to get in and break your friends back out if they've been condemned by the Minutemen. Even some barbed wire and some flipped over cars. And occasionally, we'll keep some Mirelurks in the Mirelurk pit that we can just open the hatch and let them loose. She's watching the outer perimeter here, which again is full of like pikes and all kinds of scrappy walls. And just in case the attackers can read, no trespassing signs. Keep out. Any kind of attack on this side of the settlement is going to be slow and painful, and quite loud. You know, from all the screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bonus.
Gets the attack dogs, you know, riled up for the kill.
The music of the penal colony.
Shrieking and gnashing of teeth. This hut right here has been repurposed with a little stand for guarding this outer entrance right here.
I just imagine the guards like, the glass.
The glass.
Yeah. Just want to rest for a freaking second.
Yeah, don't rest your arms on that. And you've got your attack warning sirens right there, ready to sound the alarm. And these are going to be positioned at multiple points throughout the entire settlement for complete siren coverage, because order and safety. Always. As we climb up right here.
Except for the touring that you do in and out of this, because you're like, I need to show you this.
Yeah, we're going into the Minutemen prison as General Dave. Now, I am wearing a protective mask and all of my armor, so I'm pretty safe. But
From viruses or something.
yeah, it's gonna get real gross down there. This is the main gatehouse for the central part of the prison right here. See, it's got almost what do they call those hatches in medieval castles? Where you could like pour the boiling
Tar, yeah, or I mean the hot oil or whatever down.
Yeah, what was it called? Murder holes.
Yeah, that's what it was. Hot, oily murder holes. No, that's not good. No.
I'm pretty sure they actually are called murder holes, but I think you might be the
Really?
first person to ever utter the phrase hot, oily murder holes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I can't breathe. Oh, that. Thank you guys for watching. This 7 months of work has just been completely derailed by hot, oily murder holes. Oh, it hurts. Ow. This actually might kill me.
Hot, oily. It sounds so tempting. Oh, the last part's really bad.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
From the back of the fortification here, you have a kind of overlook down into the main part of the prison as the prisoners are marched in. And you can also see up this way, above the medical facilities, the barbed wire and the fencing goes all the way up the cliff face. And as you can tell from all of the reinforcing here on the inside of the building, this is where you can raise that gate. So we can hit that button right there. I'll go into free cam here so we can see. This is how you get into the prison. Pretty sweet.
does that mechanism actually work?
You want to see it again?
That's a lot of power.
Yeah. Basically it right there. As we head down the stairs right here, I'll give you a free cam shot while we're in the free cam mood. And you can see what this side looks like. So you've got your central gatehouse right there, and then the layers of fortifications, and then all the way up the cliff face right here. And you can see it continues on down the quarry, all
And
of the
more
walls.
signs.
And more signs. Here's what all the fortifications look like from the side. And there's that holding area. As we head out this way, you see all these red tarps right here.
Yeah.
This is where our guard dog kennels are. More warning signs. Pretty obvious. Even if you're a illiterate raider, you can probably figure that one out. They have their own water pump here. And lots of kennels to keep our guard dogs in. Got one down here. And then they've got their own bathtub too. Got a platform that goes up.
Does she take care of the dogs?
And also the guard tower up front. This dog's got his own fancy bed right there, complete with toys. And then a couple of contained kennels right here.
I like the broom there. Nice touch.
The broom and the debris. I actually placed that
What?
debris. Yeah. So I have new mods now that let me place even more trash than ever before. Because I've been saying for like years now, like, oh, I wish I could place more like trash and rubble. Well, I found mods to do it. So literally, even like the paper decals right there, I built everything here, including the paper, the rubble,
And those
the
little
rocks.
wood slats?
Every piece of wood, I placed everything that you see here. Because if you look, this was just terrain right here. I built this whole structure, and actually it's built out of different pieces of wood too.
See, that's really awesome. But I feel like, wouldn't RangerDave murder someone for having a random board?
It's just for reinforcement. Yeah. And you can see that someone's not happy with our guard dogs here. Quit your whining. And
Is it
they're
Graham or Cram?
cram.
Oh, Cram, yeah.
Yeah, cram. They're preparing some of the meals for the dogs right here, including some. I think
Ruin
that's
the other prisoners.
Ugh. I'm gonna go ahead and veto that one. That is not prisoner meat. That's just what is that? That's probably some Brahmin that died while building this place.
That's 100% what I would do.
That's our kennel area. We also have a number of bots that can cruise around and keep an eye out for attempted escapees. And this is how you get up, of course, to the main guard tower. Caught you lounging. Of our guard dogs just hanging out up here. We've got turrets to back you up, but also you have some hard cover in case of an attack, but also plenty of murder holes to choose from. All kinds of them, really, including the oil
Minutemen
guns.
statues looking over. Do you have the RangerDave one?
You mean the General Dave statue?
Sorry, General.
That is a unique statue to Sanctuary.
Oh.
These are kind of like mass-produced for the Commonwealth area. We found that warehouse, according to my lore. She's having a hard time with that stairwell there.
He's doing a aerobic workout.
And that's our dog kennel area, and as you can see, it's also conveniently right across from the prisoner holding area, just in case.
Gosh, they brought him barking probably.
Oh yeah, barking, yipping, whining.
The soldiers like seeing the dogs like taking a bath in the tub. Like, ah.
That trash right there, Joel, along the fence. Yep, I did that. I just want you to be
I
horrified.
did that.
Every piece of, well, not every piece, but most of the scrap and debris you're going to see are actually was placed by me. Let's go ahead and close that back up. We're not going to go into the main entrance just yet because we're going to actually start by going down to the very depths of the prison and working our way back up. So you remember that you have a quest here to get the pumps going to keep it from flooding. So that is still very important here. You got to keep the pumps charged up so that our prisoners don't die. Close this gate too. Keep the dogs in. That is part of their encouragement. Because again, a big part of this penal colony is they have to produce prefabs for the Minutemen. We send raw resources down on cranes, and then they turn it into wall pieces, floor pieces, statues, tools, whatever the Minutemen actually need. And they have a daily allotment, and if they meet their allotment, they get their daily rations, and the pumps keep running. If production slacks, rations get cut, and the water starts to rise. So
I know what this place is now, Dave.
yeah,
This place is like the Wall in Game of Thrones. Like, you either are sentenced to death, or you choose to live an entire life of servitude, building stuff and becoming part of this brotherhood.
the purpose of this location is not only to lock away people who are dangerous to the Minutemen and to General Dave, but to also produce raw goods for my other settlements. It's a very important piece of the Minutemen Empire puzzle. And behind you here, you can see part of how this works. This goes up like this to the front entrance. This is how we unload just like, raw trees, lumber, supplies off of trucks. And then it's brought up these ramps right
Did you put
here.
a little pipe in the ground?
The barrel?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's the barrel.
Yeah, it's just been there for a while probably.
Oh.
From before. So some of that. Okay, so I didn't place all the trash. You got me.
Okay.
Don't do it again.
That barrel too.
Yeah. Some of those were here, but I built the ramp system that goes up like this. This is how you get those raw supplies to the edge of the quarry.
Is that the ramp
efficiently.
that's kind of bleeding into the side of the concrete?
It's notched into the side of the concrete for structural support. Notching is very important. Just like
You're gonna give me a notch if I keep on saying this stuff.
Yes, I will. And then, of course, a second layer of fencing on top right here, just to make sure that you can't climb over all the barbs. Gotta have that extra layer of protection. Although at this point, if you climb this wall, you'd be climbing into the dog kennels, so that might not be the best place to attack anyway.
We're free! Ah!
But General Dave, he can't allow any kind of easy attack route, even into the dog kennel. So our supply ramp comes down this way. And you can see some of the spillage from the last transport. So you got some concrete blocks, some wood planks, just some bits of debris from the last shipment that was brought in, and a Minutemen watchtower to watch over the whole operation. Right here we have a gate that is secured by the control panel over there in the floating control center, which is secured by all of these cranes and wires. We're going to see that eventually. But when a shipment arrives to head down to our prisoners, the control center opens the gate right here. And you can see it's brought out onto this platform with this crane right here, where it is loaded up to send down into the very, very depths
What in the world?
of
We're going
the
that
settlement.
deep.
Yeah,
Was it really like that in the game?
yeah.
I guess I just don't remember it.
I used the outline of the actual settlement here to build the prison. So we'll go into free cam just for a second here so you can see the crane better. I'll pull the camera back like that. So you can see right here as the frame rate chugs, that is our raw resource crane, which lowers down to the lowest part of the settlement down below. You can see we've got some lumber that's getting ready to be lowered for making some prefabs for the Minutemen. And to our left right here, while we're in free cam, this was originally, as you can see from the iron framework against the wall right there, this was a framework for a more permanent pump system for the quarry. So the Minutemen have repurposed this in true Fallout fashion as a way to get raw loot down to the factory.
That's the dumping hole.
That is 100% the dumping hole. So the crane is for large stuff like this, like logs and maybe stone, stuff like that. Although I imagine you got plenty of stone in a quarry already. Maybe General Dave wants specific stone for his pillars.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
He probably does. But for stuff like, we have a patrol that comes in with a backpack full of, toasters and crap they found in the wasteland. They can dump it into this system.
You don't want to be down there.
Yeah, it sends it all the way down to the bottom. We're going to head down there very, very shortly.
You made those little... Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
I built this...
Well, no. I know you built it. I thought this was like a section somewhere else. You put the logs in.
You're going to make me go into workshop mode now.
No, don't do it.
So I'm going to float over here so Joel can see how this is actually built. Yeah, so I built it out of these pieces right here. And then this right here was all individual logs and wooden blocks.
Oh my gosh.
Like even the...
I thought that was a piece like in the game somewhere.
No, I built this entire platform piece by piece. Like even these cross beams, they're individual pieces. Joel, you should know better. This build probably has close to 200 hours.
And honestly, it looked so good, I thought that was like a standard piece.
Well, bless your heart. Which is good, because my heart is strained and dying after all this building.
I need this, please, affirm me.
And, just to horrify you, again, every piece of, like, trash, metal... Oh, yeah, dude, even the oil slick.
What is that to the left? What is that?
That's a visible animation marker.
Oh.
You can only see it in workshop mode.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it definitely helps out.
Like a cool little poster or something.
Even the oil slick, it's not highlighting, but that's a custom built object as well.
How did you do like an oil slick pass?
A debris pass, yeah.
How long do you think that took?
A couple hours. Like that right there, yeah.
Yeah, put that debris there.
As you can see, it's actually outside of the main walls. It just has that one security door, because the crane and the door are controlled from the central control center right there, which is suspended over the quarry. The purpose of that being, as you can see from the large stadium floodlights, this was basically the only way that we could get these giant high-powered spotlights to go all the way down to the bottom to the factory, was by suspending them over the center of the settlement.
Is there someone in there?
In the capsule?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, the little bottom, the prison thing.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Dave, I know there's some devious stuff going on here. Get to the slavery.
Joel, it's a penal colony. The whole thing is slavery. Got some more of our guard dogs watching the elevator here. Up top, you've got your workbenches. This is just for some light work by the Minutemen on stuff that comes up out of the prison, just for some finishing touches, or if they perhaps might need to make some tools or something to work on the walls, perhaps. Just a little canopy for those. As we climb the stairs right here, though, I just realized I even fixed that slightly floating leg by putting a pillar under it. I didn't even notice that at first. So if we climb up right here, see we have our access walkway that shows off some of the conveyor belts, which also has
Hello
the glitch. There. Whoa! One of our guards, obviously very, very on top of things over here. He's doing a good job inspecting the conveyor belts.
Or contemplating jumping in himself. He's like, I'm done with this life.
It has that glitch where the conveyor belts aren't animated again. But they're moving. And as you can see, Joel, the elevator right here is now completely enclosed in a metal cage. That is where resources are brought up from down below. But just in case someone is trying to ride that elevator up with the resources, it's completely enclosed. And we have some backup measures to take care of them at the top, if necessary. And then the conveyor belts dump onto our chute system right here. And a very carefully hop onto the hopper. No pun intended. Pun intended. And even more carefully, I'm gonna
fired.
I'm gonna peek over the edge right here without falling. you can see that leads to our chute system that, in its rough and scrappy way, leads all the way down to the factory floor. And it's got a couple of pieces along the way to help slow the descent rate of the loot as it falls down. All the way down the chute. Smashing and smashing. Basically, all you have left by the time you get down here is the raw materials. But you'll also notice what I added at the very bottom. You have a dual fan system to slow the fall of the loot, so it's not just completely shattered by the time it gets down to the bottom.
Huh.
So it basically creates a lot of air pressure and a wind tunnel.
I would have had my prisoners like there to catch it.
Use your soft bodies to catch my loot.
Some kitchen knives coming down.
Oh. Yeah, that is our chute system for dropping off your loot. And Joel, like I said, in case somebody comes up on that elevator who's not supposed to be in there, you see what's mounted around the entire outside of the cage. Flamethrowers.
Wow. And you did that instead of a bullet, so it didn't have to go through the metal, right? Because the flame can go through metal. Nice touch.
Yeah. And it's so easy to reload. You just pop a new fuel tank on there, you're ready for the next escape attempt. Come on up.
So if you were a prisoner, how do you get down there? Like, how are you taken?
You go down the main ramp right here. We're going to reverse how you get into the prison.
That's fine. Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah. Yeah, so the main gate that we opened earlier, that's how you actually get in.
Everywhere there's fuel things. These are all the way the staff workers go. It's like, if this is violent, I can't wait to see what it looks like on the prisoner side.
And once we secure this door, you can see that this is, in fact, a cage of death with the flamethrowers just pointed. A nozzle's like poking through, ready to go. Bits of debris. And every possible gap sealed up. I even put cages over the back of the elevator here, so there's no way you can climb out. And the flamethrowers go all the way around.
Oh my gosh.
But the idea here is, if the elevator is...
remote safety.
To promote safety, yeah. So the entire time that, let's say the elevator's up, right? You just arrived from patrol with your bag full of loot. You have to come in the cage here with all the flamethrowers and the oil slick.
That's always there, ready for the flamethrower. What?
Some wooden supplies.
Wait, you
here.
kept that?
Ready to just...
You were like Moriarty of... No, you're Sherlock. Sorry, I'm Moriarty. You are Sherlock of Fallout Bills.
I accept this. Yeah, I had some loot ready to go right here. Oh, it's stuck.
I'm filming you.
Oh, where'd it go?
Oh, there it is.
What is it doing? Let's watch it on its journey. There it goes. So it compresses it down into the raw materials.
With magic.
With Fallout magic. Then it tumbles down that way. Then it's sorted.
Oh, this is really cool.
And eventually, it gets stuck right on the lip. It's best to put like a whole bunch of loot through all at the same time.
Sure.
Which is why I have a whole bunch of loot just in case that happens.
Always be prepared.
There we go. So you're dropping off all of your supplies. I love these contraptions. They're so much fun. Come on. There it goes.
This is like those quarter machines, you know? Like
Yeah. Oh, come on. Look at that. Come on.
Just a little bit more. Yeah.
This was so much fun to build. Yeah.
Whee! That's awesome.
And away it goes. Enough playing with the contraptions. It's time to finally head down. So let's make sure that we've
Close the doors, turn off the lights. Isn't that what I was about to say?
Yeah, let's make sure we've locked up. The guard dogs are just like right outside too. You escape the flamethrowers, mauled to death. The dogs are like, I smell barbecue. So we're going into the belly of the beast. on down to the very bottom
What
of
in the world?
Thicket Excavations.
Was this elevator here at all before?
This was one of the only things that was here.
Okay.
It's for bringing stones up from the bottom, and it just really felt like it fit. All right, Joel, here we are at the very bottom of Thicket Excavations. This is where the lowest of the low prisoners stay. Like all prisons, there is a hierarchy. Joel's men being at the top. You do have agents inside of the prison, but down here on the factory level, if you live down here, you're not doing too well. This is our primary component factory here. If we look up, you can see how
UFO.
far down we are. Looks like a TIE fighter almost from down here. At the bottom of the elevator, you can see that the Minutemen are keeping a close eye on everything. Not that anybody cares. And over here, below our spotlight, you can see that there is a stack of prefabs stacked up and ready to be sent off for new settlement construction. So they can just pop that onto the elevator and send it up, and they get some rations in exchange. There's a bunch of additional storage here underneath this canopy.
And I'd love to see a riot.
What if, Joel, I told you that at the end of this, we're going to have a riot?
I like that.
I thought you might. Do you remember, Joel, the Sanctuary tour last year? Those nice stone pillars that were being built for our new provisional government headquarters? Guess which tired hands were building them? The prisoners at Thicket Excavations. Although because Sanctuary is earlier in my timeline, I imagine this was not quite as well structured as it is now. It was probably basically just the one elevator and some very simple factory setup down here. But now it is a very complete and working factory
I'm
setup.
just teaching these people to be amazing at stonework.
You gotta learn, otherwise you don't eat. Plus we send a lot of manuals down. You can see we have our work tables over here, some tools and notices, and of course the loudspeakers so you can get announcements constantly being shouted at you from above. Plenty of debris where they've been working. To our right here, we've got a platform that has got some debris piled on it because it is just below our mid-tier elevator. You can see it hanging over the edge right there. That's just an elevator for the prisoners because there's a second work area we're going to see at the mid-tier of Thicket Excavations. It's all going to come down here to go up that large elevator.
You bring them down so that you can eventually build them up. And by building them up, I mean take advantage of them.
It's a labor camp. 100% a labor camp. You got one of their tool racks there. Lots of debris where they've been working on different projects, including refurbishing one of the Minutemen statues.
Did you send one there to get repaired?
Yeah, we did. And they better do it right.
You are a tyrant.
It's even got a customized cart for wheeling it around to protect it.
Oh, man. Oh, that's good.
And it's got this, like, I imagine that as like a laser cutting machine or something for like some fine detail work.
I was just thinking of playing Fallout 76 and how my character is going to come after your character so badly, like, I'm going to destroy you.
Why destroy me when I'm just teaching people the value of hard work?
It is happy work.
And you can see we've got some of the manuals right here on how to use the machine. Total hack, control robots.
Just picture like the prisoners that, like, you know, kids brought up in these prisoner areas or whatever. They're just like learning, like, General Dave is a god. What he says.
He rules the surface lands.
He rules the surface lands.
You can see we've got some blueprints over here and some additional storage. This right here is where our conveyor belt leads back in. See if we can pick up our Vault Tech lunchbox here and add it to our collection machine. There we go. Whee! That's where it is sorted and stored for construction purposes. Go to free cam here. I can show you what the bottom of our tower looks like. It's got a sturdier concrete construction to support the very bottom of this ridiculous the loot chute. Whoop, we're inside of the fan there. So there's our couple of fans that are slowing things down. Then it goes around the corner here. And below our backup power source here, which is very important, it's also out of reach for prisoners unless they climb to get it, in which case a turret shoots them. The loot travels down the ramp right here and on into the factory floor and into the sorting machine where, again, you've got your loudspeaker for constant announcements. And you got your cameras.
It will be constant announcements.
You there, I see that your performance has dropped 14% in the last hour. Step it up, prisoner 4365. I've added all kinds of debris and stuff below the conveyor belt where stuff's just kind of falling off because it's gotta be just a huge mess of broken stuff like falling down that chute. Speaking of broken messes of loot, if we go to the second floor of our factory right here, you can see where the more technologically minded prisoners are put to work. So working on electronics and some of the more detailed work
is that a
done
six-pack? What is that?
It's a battery.
Oh, it kind of looks like a six-pack. I was like, they're making RangerDave's whiskey.
Oh, not in a place as dirty as this. But there might be another alcohol being brewed down here. So I added my homemaker lights with the nice shadow casting light. Get all that detail.
Like you had to flick through a whole entire thing for just probably one. How many other pencils are in this area?
2, I think.
Oh,
yeah. There was a pencil pass.
There was a pencil pass.
And some of their microscopes and additional tools for working on things here on the second floor. But because of all the windows and those giant spotlights from above, and also our control center right here for all the conveyor belts with the light in that, this is just one of the more well-lit areas, so it's good for working on the finer stuff. It's got some boxes of loose parts there. The six-pack, apparently. I do see that. And some robot parts and some scales. And it looks like they've ripped some of that out of this old terminal. Imagine what that sounded like falling down the loot chute.
Oh, dude, it's gotta be so loud.
Like glass shattering.
Does anyone sleep near there?
I imagine that everyone down in the quarry would hear that falling. That's gotta be horrific sounding.
Headphones on. We'll take the screaming over that.
Hard work is happy work.
He looks like he's more uppercutting.
We can do it! And you've got someone making a sculpture out of some of the parts here.
That's RangerDave.
It's a RangerDave effigy.
Bringer of death.
That's our second floor of the factory. Watch your step. This is all some pretty rough construction. As you can imagine, the prisoners aren't high on the let's do this right list. There's a first aid kit though, because you know what they say, well bandaged workers are good workers. Bandage it and keep working.
If you're not bleeding, you should be working.
I like that one. That's going on a poster. You got some of the carts here used for moving stuff back and forth throughout the factory. And here, one of the old excavators that was flooded out was used to create a staircase that leads out of the factory here. As we're in the lower sections here, you're going to notice that a lot of areas just don't have doors because it's not a high priority. Like, you're in a prison.
Yeah.
Most people don't care about privacy.
And you're in a giant pit.
If you see a building with a door, that means that someone important either lives there or works there. If there's a door down here in the prison, that's kind of like a mark of privilege in the prison hierarchy. But here, it's just a very scrappy way to get a staircase up to the factory floor there. Lots of trash underneath.
I feel like that thing's literally holding the building up.
It kind of is, yeah. There's lots of supports, but I mean, the sure there's bedrock down here. There's also lots of mud and junk down here as well.
Spikes.
Yeah, so
I like that.
yeah, this is where the prisoners can entertain each other.
Is this run by the prisoners?
Yeah, I imagine that your men, Joel's henchmen in the prison, would definitely
Anybody that works for me ends up going to this prison.
Yeah,
They run it.
yeah, you'd be in charge of. See if we can open it up. You'd be in charge of the bets and the fights here. In the fighting pit. There's a skeleton in the water. I just noticed. Yeah, that's the good old-fashioned fighting pit.
Yeah.
Some of these guys look like they could win a fight in the fighting pit. There's always got to be some losers, though.
Hello. You're all dead.
Yeah.
That's your henchman right there. Look at that bowler hat. That's a man that runs things around here. He's ready to take your bets right there. Some graffiti on the side of the factory here. You can see that right next to the factory is one of our primary pump systems. I just noticed that no one's working right now. They must be very nervous about RangerDave being down here. Or perhaps they're not nervous enough because they should all be working if I'm down here.
Yeah, pretty much.
This, though, is the ramp that leads up to the factory floor where they can take these carts full of loot and bring them back and forth. So this is kind of the access ramp.
That's cool.
Because it leads over to our Foundry area where our loot is brought down and a lot of the main processing happens. Excuse me, orphan. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
This guy's trying for the extra rations.
Sir, you've got barbed wire on your shoulder.
This guy's getting no rations for today. He's been.
Are they
doing a
brothers,
good
the
job.
same guy?
Is it?
They look like the same haircut.
That's pretty close to it. Yeah, must be brothers.
I'm with you too.
Oh, I thought it was just another, like a chopped off head just sitting there.
Oh, she got loose. We'll just leave her alone. Oh, poltergeist. Let's head down to this corner first. As you can tell from the signs, keep out from under crane loads. We're now directly below that supplies crane. Look how far up there that thing is. So that's where we lower the raw materials down for our prisoners to work on.
Sorry to anybody who loves Fallout and is also has vertigo.
And this right here would be a shipment of rations. I imagine they get pre-packaged like second-hand stuff from the other settlements shipped in. But if their production
I like how you
increases-
imagine because you don't actually know because RangerDave doesn't care. If they get fed,
But it better be second-hand.
Yeah.
If I find out they're getting first-hand rations, their production better be...
you drop a nuke in there.
They better be earning it, is all I'm going to say. We've got some debris across the platform here where they're still sorting through some of that raw supplies that are coming down.
Raw detail.
Lots of raw detail. You can see we've got a whole bunch of just crap that they're having to work their way through to build with. Constant banner reminders. You must pay your debts. And got someone over here on this little platform that's been washing their clothes in the nasty water at the very bottom of the prison.
Ugh.
You know that's like gray water. That's like bathtub water, toilet water. That's just everything's in there.
Let go of hope.
Basically. Because otherwise you must pay your debts forever.
Yeah.
Giving himself a little smoke break. I like the maintenance outfit. That looks pretty warm for being a cold underground prison. That's a smart man right there. I wonder what he traded for that. This is the primary foundry down here at the bottom of the prison. This is where they make things like nails or tools to ship out for the Minutemen. And a reminder that if they work hard enough, hard work is rewarded with better rations and less flooding. So that's always very exciting. You got more raw materials piled up, some bonfires. to keep the smelting going at all hours of the night. I imagine it's like 24-hour shifts, like the like in Lord of the Rings in the underground foundry.
You know what I mean? Like the different hammers all around. We forged the one ring for General Dave.
This guy's over here with all of his forging equipment. There's like a mini forge down there. Plenty of raw materials, and of course the. Can you imagine what it smells like down here, with all the burning tires to help fire the forge? Just black, acrid smoke. Just nasty, nasty smoke. Whoever's working this is going to die of cancer in like a year. But that leads us up to the workshop area, where, as you can see from the orphan going by, some of the children prisoners do some of the fine detail work. I actually had a question in my Let's Build series on this. People were asking, you know, how do you deal with children? Because it's just mixed population. Like, you're going to have babies and kids and stuff in the prison. I figure around the age of like 7 or 8, they have the option of they can leave the prison or they can stay. That is the only life that they've known. But at this point, it's only been open for, 5 or 6 years. I imagine all the kids that were born here are still here, because they're 5 or 6 years old at the earliest. However, if we have an orphan that perhaps murdered someone, well, time to put those tiny hands to work in General Dave's loot and shoot factory.
Loot and shoot. Not the fun kind of shooting.
You've got all kind of raw materials and workspaces over here. Lots of tech to work on. Not the best structures, but it's the bottom of a quarry. What are you gonna do, right? you gotta work with what you got.
It's a giant Nuka cap? What is that? Underneath.
Underneath? Yeah, it's a clock, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, they're making huge sodas down here.
Got some more work area with the cabinets here at the front.
So what do they eat?
Where do they eat?
Yeah.
You're gonna see an occasional cooking fire as we move around.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's
So this really is like self-run.
Yeah.
It's like isn't like there's some prisons like in Mexico that are like just self-run.
Exactly.
Oh man.
So below all the canopies of the workshop here, we've also got this kind of workbench for working on dangerous materials. It has like the glove arms you can put your hands in to work on dangerous stuff in the glass, which is like, it's like cracked a little bit. It's like, it's probably helping some for working with perhaps radioactive objects. This was shipped out from, I'd say, probably like the Mechanist layer or something, some of that hardware. More work lights there. Plenty of supplies. You can head down right here and look at our lumber yard, which this guy is religiously sweeping. So we've got platforms for sawing our raw logs into lumber. So yeah, this guy that's drinking on the job, definitely not going to earn his rations for the day. I imagine your overlords make sure that everyone does their part to earn their rations, and probably a little bit extra too, like for their work.
This just reminds me of the Maze Runner. Like, they had to do certain things, and then randomly, like, an elevator would come up, like, giving them food and supplies and stuff.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty much it.
And then you see where they're sawing on some of the lumber that they're cutting over here. And yeah, the saws, the debris, every plank, every tool, it's all hand placed, one by one. So we got a saw right there. Got the big bandsaw. Got some street lights, because even with these gigantic searchlights, it's just, we're so far down. Like, look how dim it is down here.
Yeah.
It helps, but only to a point. And you've got some more of these carts ready for carrying the raw supplies back and forth from the elevator. We're gonna head up out of the Foundry area, by which I mean we're gonna lock them back in. Back to work with you. We even have more workspaces out here where this guy's sorting through some, looks like copper and ceramic and whatnot. I think it's time to go explore the main living quarters. And I am seeing that one of these guys is armed, which is not allowed.
Word of Adam's glory must be spread to all.
Now, of course, being an apocalyptic prison, there are tons of weapons down here, but to brazenly just have it out, yeah, that won't do.
The world
We're gonna have to
will
make an
see
example of
Adam's
him.
glory again.
This corner right here is basically the lowliest of the low as far as prisoner housing goes. This part of the bedrock right here is where the most recent mining is happening. So some of the stone that was used to rebuild Sanctuary came from this part of the mine. Which means that if you are living in this part of the underground prison, your life sucks, basically. You're the lowest of the low, you're the newest prisoner, you haven't earned any kind of respect yet. This is where you sleep. On some bags in a pile of debris, or perhaps up here, like literally next to where they're mining. Hey, you got a fire barrel though, at least.
It's a hard knocks life.
You're dead.
You're dead.
And just in all the trash right here, I imagine like someone's sleeping in the dirt down there just because, you know, it keeps the rain off, because you got some tarps and stuff, but the water's gonna come right in, basically. You've got this tent right here with you've got a fire barrel at least, right? Just some mattresses.
Right under the tent.
Yeah. You know, it's probably not catching on fire because everything down here is probably just wet and just gross and cold.
Well, I mean, I've had a campfire under like a wooden like structure I've made before. I mean, you just keep it small.
There's plenty of holes in there too, though. This guy's having a smoke break. He really wants that fire.
He's smoking through his mask.
I don't think he knows how that works.
Yeah, that's why
May the
he's
glow
down
of
here.
Adam guide your path.
And of course, we've already seen the combat pit here, which is right next to their water supply for the town.
Some guy's bathing while watching other people die.
Who's thirsty? Unfortunately, everyone, we're going to have to pause right there for part 1. We're already past an hour, and there's still a lot more to see. Tune in for the next parts to see the rest of the scrappy underground prisoner housing and to see how they're surviving and how Joel's henchmen are controlling things down here. We're also going to see the defenses above and the control room and a couple of other secrets along the way. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on so you don't miss any of the rest of the tour. For now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.